Hey guys, Token Vaping, Pacific Vapes. Today's flavor review is actually should have been up and posted on my channel a couple of days ago. So to the company, I do apologize for that. You know, just things get kind of caught up in. Anyways, the line that I'm going to be doing the review on is King's Juice. Now I do apologize. That's not just the lighting right there. It is one of the cool things about their bottles. They do have a metallic like enamel on it, just to make them stand out a little bit more, give them a little, there you go, that's a little bit better, give them more of a, I hate saying upscale because it makes it sound like they're trying to be, trying to act like they're better than everybody else, and they're really not. It's just that they're trying to, like everybody else, you know, there's so many juice companies out there that are trying to basically set themselves apart so that, you know, there's something about them that, you know, pops out in your head. Doesn't always mean that's the only thing you're going to remember them for, but just having that little extra anything that makes you, you know, think of them over somebody else is the main thing that everybody's going for. Now for these guys, the bottles and the labels are actually really cool. I mean, they have a K logo in there with a diamond style. It basically gives them more of a, it almost makes them look something, and I hate to say it this way because it sounds like I'm grouping it for the most part, but it makes it almost look like it's something that is from England or like the British. It has that style or that appeal to it, which I think is cool, and it's definitely different. So, but this is their bottle, this is their logo, very, very slick, very reflective, as you can tell. I mean, I've messed with my lighting a few different times, and it still is going to pick up just because of this. It has the nicotine level, the name, not just the name, actually. This is really cool. It's the name and the flavor profile of what it is. Now, it doesn't go into a full scale of what the specific flavor is, but it does give the style. There is their line brand. It is King's Juice. Their warning labels and everything else on this side. Now, it is safety sealed, but not by a specific plastic wrap. This is actually, I think it's kind of cool. On the inside bottom of the bottle, now of course mine gets stuck when I'm trying to show you, there is this ring here that locks when you first get these bottles. When you open it, you will hear that does the as it separates itself from the ring. So that basically ensures you, if you straight open your bottle and you don't hear that, don't use the bottle. Contact the company, let them know so that they can get you taken care of and get something else figured out for you. They do have their own website. It's thekingsjuice.com, and you can go to their website to purchase their bottles. These are their sample ones. These are 15 ml bottles. On the website they offer 30 ml bottles for $21.99. So basically, price wise, it is affordable. They are trying to stay, you know, on par with everybody else. Now, if you're not sure about them, or you don't know anybody that that has tried them or does have them, or if your shop doesn't have them, which if they don't, you should have your shop reach out to them for samples. They do offer sample packs that have the 15 ml. See, that just kind of looks slick anyway. They do have the 15 ml bottles. You can get 5 of them for $49.99, and it does come in a really cool decorative little black box as well. So you can do that. They do offer 3 nicotine levels. It's a 0, a 3, and a 6. And the mix ratio on this is a 70-30. So they're basically trying to find that right mixture in between for clouds and flavor. All of the ingredients that they use are 100% kosher and FDA approved. Now, before I go any further, I need to make sure that I clarify that so that nobody comes back on me going, I thought none of this was FDA approved. The juices themselves are not. Vaping is not. The ingredients that are used, the specific ingredients, they themselves are FDA approved, because this is not the only thing that those ingredients are used in. So I just want to make sure that I have that cleared up so nobody's coming back on me stating that, well, you said that this was this, and every blah blah blah, and you know, I just, the last thing I want to do is misinform anybody. So while vaping and the juice as a whole is not FDA approved, the specific ingredients that are locally sourced from the US, those are, because again, they are used in a bunch of other stuff as well. So I'm not really sure why there's such a hang up about it, but there you go. Um, the one thing that I think is cool about King's Juice, I know there's a couple other companies that are doing or have people on board that have various type of um, expertise or backgrounds in specifics when it comes to the mixology aspect of this, or the marketing and everything else. King's Juice, their mixologists have culinary arts degrees. That's actually pretty slick, just because it means that when they're going for a specific flavor profile or they're trying to find a flavor mixture, they already know what flavors are going to match up or what can be put together. So, in essence, they kind of have a leg up in that aspect, because, in my opinion, because I do like to cook, I think it's harder to try to figure out what flavors are going to mesh well with each other, as opposed to trying to figure out what percentage of each type of flavor to mix together. Um, Now that's not to say that is the way. You know, other people might think the mixture ratio is easier to figure out than the flavors. Um, but it just depends on the way that you want to look at it. But either way, I still think that's cool that their mixologists have culinary arts degrees to try to help them come up with something unique, something different, and possibly it helps cut down on testing time, trying to figure out the flavors, so they can kind of just throw something together and then go, okay, well, I know on plate this will work. Let's see how this does here, and then they kind of already are on the go with that. So definitely a thumbs up for that. Now, the other thing that I like about this company, besides the look of the bottles and that aspect of it, is their flavor profiles are a bit different. There's a couple in there that I think are really unique, and then there's a few in there that are different just because so far they're some of the more solid ones that I've tasted. So in general, I think overall this is a really solid line. I just want to get that out there right now. And if I didn't mention it before, King's Juice, they are based out of LA, California. But the 5 flavors that they offer is Royalty, Throne, Reign, Supreme, and Empire. So they're all basically, you know, royalty based or centered around, you know, literally royalty. I mean, I hate to keep overusing that word, even though it's one of the flavor names. But that's basically what it's around: is a kingdom, a king, queen, harkens back to that time and everything else. So it's actually kind of slick. It's an interesting theme. And like I said, the bottle and the logos match up with it well. So it definitely does work for them. Now, the 5 flavors is Empire, which is their cereal flavor, since, you know, nowadays, unfortunately, it's becoming customary to have at least one because, you know, literally everybody's doing it. Empire is their Apple Jaxx. Now, I'm not a huge cinnamon fan. I've said that before in all my videos. However, this is probably one of the more solid ones that I've tried, only because the cinnamon aspect of it is not as strong. My biggest problem that I've had with a lot of the other Apple Jaxx type flavors in the other lines is that their cinnamon is the first thing you taste, and it's pretty much a smack in the face, wake you up, and then you go into the cereal flavor. That works for a lot of people. I know it does. I've already talked to some of them. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. For me, I'm not a cinnamon fan, so that being the first thing that I taste automatically kind of turns my body off to it a little bit. This one does have the cinnamon to start with. However, it is so much lighter than what I'm used to. It threw me off because I was already going into it expecting the cinnamon to be the heavier part of the whole flavor. It's not. It is the first thing you taste, but the second it hits your tongue, it basically smooths into the actual cereal aspect of it, and then on the tail end of it, you kind of get that little bit of the milkiness cream. Very mellow, very mild, and that's the one thing that I did notice about this line. I don't know if it was their intent. I don't know if that was their goal. However, every flavor of this that I vaped on, for what it was supposed to taste like, it did, but it was very mellow. Like, the flavor was there. I mean, I would say it was abundant, as in it didn't fade or disappear off of you, but it wasn't one of those that was straight in your face, oversaturate your tongue and your mouth and everything else. It was a smooth enough vape. This definitely, when you vape it, you can definitely feel that this was meant to be an all-day vape. Whether it's your choice or not, that's really entirely going to depend on your palate, which is why I always try to tell you my opinion and my view on this is not lost. So please do not take it as that's what I'm trying to portray. This is just how I take to these flavors. This is just what I think of this. Everybody has a different feel for this. So you can definitely feel how this is meant to be an all-day vape. So in that sense, it was definitely well done. As I stated, the Apple Jaxx, definitely one of the better ones that I have tried of that flavor. The cinnamon is there, but it does smooth out into the actual cereal vape flavor itself a lot quicker, and it doesn't overpower. Supreme is their blueberry PopTart. It's basically, the bottle says blue PopTart. That one is, I think a PopTart flavor just in general is hard. I know there's a few that have just debuted recently that is supposed to be PopTart based. You definitely get the blueberry on this as well. Like I said in the beginning, it is a little, it's the first thing you taste, but it's not oversaturating. It does smooth out. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not that aftertaste is meant to be like a graham cracker pastry or just a pastry in general. It kind of mellows into an almost not sure. It is still an enjoyable vape. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. None of these flavors tasted or vaped bad to me. But the blueberry Pop-Tart was just kind of, the tail end of it was just kind of a little not sure what it was meant to taste like. I do eat Pop-Tarts regularly, so I know, I have an idea of what it was supposed to go towards. For me, I think it fell a little short in that aspect. Rain is going to be the sleeper hit of this set. I will say that now, only because it's not one that people are going to expect, at least here. What it is it's a gelato with lychee berries and with a burst of milk. But with a burst of milk. Now, if you've ever been to a buffet restaurant or anything like that, the lychees, they're those little grape-looking things that are always skinned. Have a very, very unique flavor to themselves as it is. If you've ever had them, you won't forget the taste, I promise you. Not the easiest thing to mix into another flavor or to blend with another flavor. But definitely, it was definitely an enjoyable vape. I will be honest, I was kind of offset with it. I like lychees. Was not expecting it to be what it was. It definitely has a creamy smoothness to it, which kind of gets hit with the milk shot at the end. I'm not exactly sure specifically, I'll be honest, what a gelato is. I know it's a ice cream gelatin type style dessert. However, I know the lychee berry does not taste as smooth or creamy as this vape did, so I know that's part of that as well. But definitely a good job with it, definitely unique, definitely different. If you're looking for something unique, that definitely is one to try. I guarantee it. It's not going to be something you're going to commonly come across. Throne is a honeydew melon with a splash of ice cream milk. Now, people are going to have different interpretations of what they consider ice cream milk. For me, growing up, it was more of literally just frozen milk. You shave it into something and you basically just eat it really quick before it melts back into milk, basically, which is watered down. But there are companies out there that actually make ice cream heavily made up of milk, so it gives it an ice milk style taste to it, which is what I believe they're going with on this. The honeydew melon is definitely there, absolutely. I like honeydew, so I mean that's a very refreshing crisp taste to start off with. It does smooth out into the milk. Now I will say, I feel I need to say, if you vape this flavor, if you're going to switch to a different flavor afterwards, sometimes I know you can switch flavors with the same cotton and everything else. and it doesn't affect it as much. With the Throne, the Honeydew Melon with a splash of ice cream milk, it, for me at least, it overtook everything on my cotton. Like nothing I vaped afterwards got rid of that taste. Now, it was not a bad taste. Please don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm trying to say is, if you use it and then you want to switch to a different flavor, you're going to need to change your cotton. At least for what I dealt with. Not that you shouldn't be changing cotton anyway. However, like I said, I know there are people out there, and I do it sometimes too. You know, you vape on one flavor, and then you want to try something else, so you switch over real quick, you burn it out, and then you switch over. For me, it didn't work on this one. It might for somebody else. It might have just been a very apparent taste for me that just kind of stuck. I'm not sure. However, as I stated, for me, I had to switch my cotton out immediately afterwards to try a different flavor due to the Honeydew Melon just kind of staying in my cotton. But still, Honeydew Melon, splash of ice cream milk. It's a refreshing vape, especially if you're looking for something dessert type without being too heavy. Because desserts, most people think of like custards, pies, creams, things like that. This is kind of on that level, but it's a lot lighter, so it gives you that smoother, crisper bite to it. And then their royalty, which is meant to be more of a taffy style, it's exotic berries, sweet raspberry, and tropical grape. The raspberry, thankfully for me, again, I'm not a huge raspberry fan. So the berries definitely overtook the raspberry. On a couple of the times that I vaped it, I did taste a hint of the raspberry, but it's not overly apparent, which made it a bit more enjoyable for me. The exotic berries, it definitely taste. The tail end of it is definitely grape. I'm not exactly sure. I can't say that I ever remember having a tropical grape, so I'm not really sure how much of a difference there is between that and just your standard grapes. But the tail end of it definitely tastes like grape or grape juice to me. So that one is meant to be more of like the candy style flavor, which it works, but without it being overly sugar and sweet. Like I said, you know, overall a very solid line. All the flavors are mellow enough that you can definitely see the purpose of an all-day vape to them. But for me, none of them had an overabundant flavor that was too much. It wasn't something that I was going to vape on and then basically feel like that was it. I can't vape anything else within 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm good for the rest of the day. Just not the way that I felt. So I do want to show you, before I forget, I want to show you the vaping and the clouds on this. So as I said, it is a 70-30. So it is a good solid mixture, and even squeezing it, you can see that it is a bit thicker. It's definitely really cool bottles. I just think the logo is really slick. So do this on here. So, and then as always, I am vaping at 60 watts. So real quick, I believe this is, oh, hey, I use the Throne. Since I'm going to be changing anyway, but that's the cotton that I use. It's Texas Tough by USA_Vape Mama. It's not a pansy as cotton ball, but definitely check out her Instagram, Leo D Designs, for that. So 60 watts, Throne from King's Juice. Definitely get the honeydew right off the bat. Again, as always, very light, very crisp. It's just, it's a nice hit. And the ice cream milk is just a nice undertone that kind of smooths out everything with it. So as you can see, the clouds are pretty solid. We have come across, you know, thicker clouds for other styles, and such as that. This isn't meant to be just straight clouds. It's meant to have more flavor with those clouds. So, you know, it is a very nice even mix of them. Overall, like I said, very solid line. A very good option for an all-day vape. Definitely some unique flavors. So if you're out there and you're tired of the typical, you know, this flavor, that flavor, things like that, if you're looking for something really different, 3 of these at least I can say you probably are probably gonna be new to you. So if you haven't had a chance to try them, like I said, they do offer the 515 ml bottles. sample set for $49.99 off their website at kingsjuice.com. Definitely hit them up. Definitely invest in it. Have your shop reach out for samples if they don't already have them, or if somebody you know already has them or has gotten them. Definitely hit them up for a taste of it. Trust me, they are definitely different. So it is most worth the sampling of them. With that, King's Juice, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a great privilege. Your bottle designs are really really cool. Your flavor profiles are definitely newer and more unique. So it wasn't a refreshing step away from the norm in some aspects. Definitely check them out on Instagram as well. With that, guys, Token Vaping. I'm on here, YouTube, tokenvaping at gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. Hit me up, subscribe, follow, like. Anything that I can do to help enhance your vaping experience, by all means, let me know. I will do everything and anything that I can do to make that better for you. With that, King's Juice, thank you guys. With everything that's going on in the world in general, just remember, it's all about loving yourself and one another and supporting each other. Vape on, vape strong, guys. Have a good one.